I was excited about my new project. I'd saved my money to buy a model. We didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up, so this took a while. But I now held this prize in my own hands. I didn't know anything about this ship, but it looked so good on the box. I just bought it impulsively. It took hours of snipping and gluing before the vessel was ready for paint and decals. When she was fully assembled and the project was finished, she sat on my shelf collecting dust. Then one day I looked up her history, and the sheen came off of my model. The story of the Graf Spee wasn't anything like I had imagined. First of all, she was a German pocket battle cruiser, which means that she was designed to fit under the weight limit imposed by the Treaty of Versailles, ending World War I. Actually, she didn't quite fully comply, but no one made an issue of it. Secondly, there was nothing in her history that made her glorious at all. After a short battle in the South Atlantic, she was scuttled. Her skipper thought a superior British force was coming to capture her, so he did her in. His intel was faulty. So I had a model of a ship that wasn't very special at all. Well, a few days after the 4th of July, I hatched a plan. I put gasoline down her stack into her hull, stuck a Black Cat firecracker into the stack, and set her afloat after lighting the fuse. It was a glorious explosion, scuttling her in the fashion worthy of her namesake. So many life decisions are like my Graf Spee. We make choices when we're young and naive, only to realize they were not as they appeared to be on the box. And it seems easier to see error in the choices of others than in ourselves. Well, there's a curious story in John's Gospel of a woman caught in the act of adultery. She was brought to Jesus for judgment. When he resisted, they pressured him. Then he wrote something on the ground, after which he said, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." That's John 8:7. He continued to write, and they shrunk away from the oldest to the youngest. Then in Luke's Gospel, he tells the story of a sinful woman anointing Jesus' feet with her tears. This happened at the home of a Pharisee during a banquet thrown in Jesus' honor. But the host neglected to provide water so Jesus could wash his own feet, even though it was customary for the host to provide a servant to wash the feet of all the guests. Jesus gives the conclusion of the story with, "Therefore I tell you, her sins have been forgiven, as her great love has shown. But whoever has been forgiven little, loves little." That's Luke chapter 7, verse 47. Many think both of these stories are about Mary of Magdala, devoted to Jesus out of her profound gratitude. My choice to buy the Graf Spee paled in comparison to her story. I blew my ship up without remorse. She was forever grateful for the mercy Jesus had shown. He had accepted her as she was and offered her a life she could never achieve, as her great love has shown. Which begs the question, how deep is our love? Have a wonderful day.